Top 10 Facts about Hashtags. Everybody perusing this rundown understands what a hashtag is. They are wherever on the web, and it's practically difficult to track down web-based media sites and applications where they're not utilized. Be that as it may, there's a great deal of misinterpretation out there about hashtags and the once not really regular hash symbol, which used to be restrictive to money managers, and it's time we settled them unequivocally. In this way, secure your safety belt, and how about we get into the rundown? We're going to amaze you. 10. The contrast among hash and hashtag. There's a contrast between the hash and the hashtag, and it's significant that we explain this prior to going profoundly into this fascinating, teaching and uncovering list. The symbol, hashtag, is a hash, while the symbol and its going with word is a hashtag. That is, hashtag list is a hashtag while hashtag alone isn't. However, numerous individuals call the hashtag symbol a hashtag. Little miracle we as a whole misspeak hashtag list as hashtag list rather than hash list. This doesn't mean you should call it hash list, however. Individuals may believe you're an outsider, and we will disclose to you why in the last passage. 9. Twitter didn't design the hashtag. The hashtag first showed up on Twitter. Little miracle, numerous individuals think Twitter imagined it. Twitter didn't develop the hashtag. Truth be told, it was against the innovation and utilization of hashtags, which its heads made look like geeky. Twitter client, Chris Messina, developed the hashtag in August 2007. Twitter was new at that point, and Chris needed to make tweets more accessible. He proposed we utilized the hash image, which he called pound, before catchphrases to make tweets more coordinated and accessible. Chris agreed to the image since it was broadly utilized on the Internet Relay Chat, IRC, which he and his companions used to visit at that point. He quickly began utilizing the then unclickable hashtag in his tweets, and before long drafted a 2,000-word proposition, which he pitched to one of Twitter's prime supporters, Biz Stone, at Twitter's Central Command. Stone scarcely tuned into the proposition since he was distracted with settling a tech issue that had propped up. Toward the end, he excused the thought as too geeky to actually get on, and added that Twitter would compose a calculation to sort themes later on. Hashtags just got on during the October 2007 San Diego rapidly spreading fire, when Chris exhorted clients tweeting about the out-of-control fire to utilize them. Clients did, provoking Twitter to refresh its code to make hashtags interactive. The rest, as is commonly said, is history. 8. Its genuine name is neither hash nor hashtag. In the past section, we referenced that Chris alluded to the hash image as pound in his tweet. That was not a slip-up. The expression hashtag was non-existent at the time he made that tweet. Hash itself is a generally new word and is only one of the numerous names of the pound sign. Numerous individuals, especially Americans, call the hash image pound since it was framed from lb, the abbreviation of pound and a unit of weight regular in the United States. lb is the abbreviated type of libra pondo, the Latin word for pound by weight. lb gradually transformed into hashtag when copyists began adding a stroke to the upper piece of lb hundreds of years back. The pound sign is called hash as a result of its nearby similarity to the stripes on military garbs, which are additionally called hash. Nonetheless, its official name is octothorpe, especially when it shows up on phones or the web. Ringer Laboratories analysts framed the name when they added the hash catch to phones. They called it octo on account of its 8 finishes. The inception of the thorpe is indistinct, yet etymologists, individuals who study the starting point of words, concur it was either named after the U.S. competitor, Jim Thorpe, or after the Old Norse word for ranch or field. 7. It was added to phones for reasons unknown. In 1963, phone producers imagined a touch-tone framework to take care of the dialing issues basic with early phones. Under this new framework, a particular tone was doled out to the keypads on each line and section on phones. This implied each number made a sound comprising of 2 unmistakable tones, one from its line and the other from its section. The sounds may seem futile and irritating to us, however that is the means by which the framework distinguishes the numbers we're squeezing. This implies a phone with 12 catches organized in the standard 3 lines and 4 sections, 3 times 4, can make 12 sounds. Be that as it may, early phones had 10 catches. Just 0 involved the last line, leaving the 2 additional areas, and tones, to one side and right unused. Specialists at AT&T, which possessed Bell Laboratories at that point, added the asterisk and hashtag catches to use those spaces. The catches filled no need and the designers thought somebody would discover some utilization after them later on. The catches were later used to get to other telephone works, a reason they actually serve today. 6. There are 2 kinds of hash. The International Telecommunications Union, ITU, is the United Nations office answerable for setting regular guidelines for data and correspondence administrations and advancements. In 1988, it delivered a manual, exhorting phone producers to mastermind their numbers and images in one of 3 different ways. The first is the basic 3 times 4 plan, which has 123 at the top, trailed by 456, 789 lastly asterisk 0 hashtag. The other 2 are the not really normal 2 times 6 and 6 times 2 plans. Be that as it may, the ITU additionally permitted telephone producers utilize the now repetitive 3 times 3, plus 1, 5 times 2 or 2 times 5 plans, in the event that they chose to avoid the asterisk and hashtag catches. Discussing the hashtag button, the ITU perceives 2 hash catches. The first is the European adaptation, which stands upstanding at 90 degrees, and a somewhat skewed American form that inclines to the exactly at 80 degrees. Today, the 90 degrees variant seems to have become terminated, leaving the 80 degrees form as the predominant image. We should add that the ITU considered the hash image a square. 9 sinister facts about the dark side of Instagram. Warning, disturbing. 5. Why C# is called C# and not C#. Numerous individuals including novice software engineers regularly call the C# programming language C# or C# rather than its genuine name, C#. That is confounding. For what reason do we call it C# despite the fact that it's spelled with a hash or pound, contingent upon your inclination? Anders Hejlsberg, the one who drove the group that built up the language, said they initially called it cool, which means C-like object-oriented language. Nonetheless, they surrendered the name since it was hard to reserve. The group went to the C++ programming language for motivation for another name. They added 2 or more signs to frame C++ prior to joining each of the 4 or more signs to imitate the sharp sign, utilized in music. Technically, C# is composed as C. What's more, not C#. In any case, individuals utilize the hash sign since it's close enough on keyboards. 4. Why Chris never protected it. Chris would have been a tycoon or even extremely rich person in the event that he had protected the hashtag, however he didn't. In an answer posted on Quora, Chris said he didn't patent the hashtag for 2 reasons. The principal was that a patent would have conceded him an imposing business model, which would have deferred or even slowed down the mass reception of hashtags. This, he stated, was counterproductive and against the reasoning behind the production of the hashtag. He made the hashtag in light of the fact that he needs individuals to utilize it. Heaps of individuals, that is. Chris added that hashtags are a result of the web and ought not have a place with an individual. He has no revenue bringing in cash off them, and the fulfillment of seeing individuals use them is sufficient remuneration for him. So perusers, utilize more hashtags. Make Chris Messina happy. 3. How LB became hashtag. We previously clarified that the hash image started from LB, the abbreviation of the Latin Liber Pondo. However, we'll go a touch more top to bottom in this passage. The Romans abbreviated Liber Pondo to LB and utilized it as a unit of weight. It remained that path until it entered the English language, where recorders added a stroke across the highest point of L and B to show it's an abbreviated type of a more drawn-out word. The stroked LB gradually transformed into the hashtag image as copyists gave little consideration to its spelling as they composed quicker. Simultaneously, the word took a second significance in English language when money managers began utilizing it instead of no. So number 1 methods number 1, or number 1, number 2 methods number 2, etc. This is the reason the image is additionally called the number sign. It's likewise the motivation behind why typewriter producers held it, close by at, which money managers utilized as an abbreviated type of at the pace of. The main typewriters were promoted to financial specialists and it seemed well and good to hold the images they every now and again utilized. 2. How it got its name. In section number 2, we referenced that Chris Messina considered the hash image the pound in his now acclaimed tweet. What we didn't specify was that he needed us to call hashtags channel labels or label channels, however the two names never got on. So where did hashtag come from? We'll go to Stoboid for answers. Around the same time that Chris proposed the hashtag, Stoboid remarked on his post, proposing we call the hash and it's going with word hashtags. Yes, that was no error. It should be hashtag and not hashtag. Somebody someplace shut the hole and combine the two words. We don't have the foggiest idea who that individual is and we question if that individual realizes they framed another word. They may have done that because of mistake for all we know. 1. Why it's a dubious word. The hashtag formally turned into an English word when it was added to the Oxford English Dictionary in June 2014. Prior to at that point, it was simply one more slang. The Oxford English Dictionary adds new words to the English word reference just on the off chance that they've entered far-reaching use. Most words start as slangs or imports from another dialect before they become official English words. In any case, the Oxford English Dictionary convoluted things a piece when it characterized the hashtag as a word or expression following the hash image or the image itself, particularly when it shows up on a telephone or computer. This implies it is right to call hash symbol a hashtag and thus hash list hashtag list. On the off chance that you're asking why we didn't disclose to you this toward the start of the rundown, it was to try not to mistake the image for the image and word. We utilized both hash and hashtag broadly in this rundown and it would have been befuddling in the event that we kept shifting back and forth between calling hashtag a hash and a hashtag. Plus, the Oxford English Dictionary added a proviso, particularly when it shows up on a telephone or PC. Nonetheless, on the off chance that you demand calling the independent hashtag a hashtag, at that point we prompt that you call something like hashtag list verse, a hashtagged word. That is the thing that Twitter does and it forestalls a ton of disarray.
Do not forget to subscribe and click the bell icon. Keep in touch with the Top Global Things channel.